I'm John, and this week I ate diabetes tray bake.
Hi, I'm John, and
Want to try that again?
no,
Oh,
Great. Every time I've got to host an episode, someone can't be bothered.
what happened to being professional?
hi, I'm John, and I'm super professional.
That's more like it.
No, just
Roll with it, roll with it. It's the best we've got.
Start again. Make it easy for me.
Right. Hi, I'm John, and this week I've eaten diabetes tray bake.
And I'm John, and I'm, quote, super professional, unquote.
And I'm not John, and I bought a lottery ticket for Friday on a Wednesday and got questioned about it by the staff behind the counter. I knew what I was doing. I wanted the jackpot on Friday, not the measly jackpot on a Wednesday. It's not your job to question my purchases. Thank you. And this is a podcast because would John, or not John rather, sometimes when they feel like it, a podcast where we ask John's, not John's, sometimes George's questions about things and sometimes, yeah. Anyway, this week,
We've had a week. We've not abbreviated it.
yeah. This week John's the host, so I'm hoping he's going to let us dive right in.
Oh, you got it there before me. Right, okay. This is an issue that's really close to my heart, and I'm fairly undecided about it. So, would you rather have all you can eat Chinese or all you can eat curry?
Chinese.
Or you can eat curry.
There was a lot of clamouring to curry there, but Matt, did you go for Chinese?
I did.
Would you like to tell us more?
Yeah, I like Chinese more than I like Indian.
Why? Because
I like sweet and sour. No, to be honest, I think it's split between the mains. I mean, I'm gonna get various hate tweets or none because nobody listens to us. But my Indian order and my Chinese order are very static. I know what I like. I've tried other things, and if I'm around other people that are ordering it, I'll try some of theirs. But I know what I like. I want the sweet and sour chicken, but the battered chicken with rice. That's my main course for my Chinese. Normally, with my Chinese, I'll also get crab claws, sometimes prawn toast, but that's my Chinese. Sorted. My Indian, I get chicken tikka masala with rice, I get a garlic naan, and I get sag paneer. Now, sounds like I've got my Indian order together. Every time I try and order an Indian, I have to find an Indian that does all the things I want. Most of them don't do sag paneer, which instantly I don't want that Indian because they don't do what I offer. Every Chinese does what I offer. And I always order too much food. And I know what you're going to say. It's nice to have it as a leftover thing in the morning, but I can do that with Chinese. I just order more of it. There's not as much hassle when it comes to ordering what I want. I know what I want, so I'm going to order it. But too many places aren't consistent in the Indian cuisine vernacular.
you just throwing words in there that don't belong.
Yeah, myself. Sorry, the gentleman and myself who maze the art for our podcast used to play a game, which John, you might be partial to. Actually, I think this is the first time I've let it slip to you. We used to use the word vernacular when playing online games in any context, just to see if anyone would pick up on it. For example, playing Rocket League, going, "Oh, did you see the angle on that shot? Oh, that was perfect vernacular." Just to see if anyone we're playing with would pick up on it. Vernacular is one of our favourite words.
Okay, yep, I like that. My favourite thing was one of our more free-spirited friends would use quotes that didn't actually have any context to what you were doing. Like you could say, "Oh, I went to a hardware store and I got myself a real bargain on the jigsaw." He goes, "Oh yeah, no, that's really cool. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day." What? He did that to me twice, and I didn't call him out on it. It's the third time I was like, "What is it? What is this shit? What is this nonsense?" And he went, I was just seeing how long it takes people. I was surprised you lasted 2 before calling me out on the third. I was like, yeah,
I'm
that's pretty
polite.
sloppy work from myself.
But back onto the topic, yeah, I like consistency, just like we were discussing in previous episodes. I get to the point where I like my takeaway that I use, but unfortunately, because I live in a city, there isn't your go-to Indian, your go-to Chinese. It depends on what's open, when it's open, if it's nearby, etc. So I have to rely on Just Eat, and there's so many different options. I don't get takeaways that often, really. So when it comes down to ordering, I mean, if it was a straight up, would I rather have an Indian or a Chinese? Different argument, but ascertaining what I want from the particular dish and cuisine that I want, it just gets too difficult.
I think I would like to come at this from almost entirely the opposite angle. I would much rather have an Indian curry, and I think it's just because of the variety on offer and the ability for a food group to always surprise and delight you. One of the things, I mean, you know, everybody's got their local Chinese shop that they don't mind, but if you go to China and try Chinese food, it's not going to be anything like what you expect, and probably not what you want at all.
Wow. Don't aim
Same
that
with
just
Indian.
at Chinese yet. Most Indian food is vegetarian for a start.
Yeah, no. So the point I was going to make was that you go to India to try Indian food, and it blows English Indians out of the water. It's just so much more exciting, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variety in Chinese food as well, but I worry about what I was eating in China, because you're probably going to end up eating like a dog or...
Whoa. A, the same could be true of India, and B,
No.
if Indian
No.
food was that good, you would have an India town in every major city in the UK. What do you have? You have a Chinatown.
It's called Leicester.
No, you have curry houses, but in every single major city in the country, you have a Chinatown. You don't have an India town, yet you find
What
a lot of...
is it called? Brick
find-
Lane in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It's just a whole mile
that's-
long street of curry houses.
That's London. Well,
Oh.
they do, and we have Brick Lane is in London, and that's just a whole street of curry house, like hundreds of curry houses. So it does exist.
I mean, I'm gonna finish saying what I'm saying. Borderline going on the racist card, but I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound. You tend to find that you get a lot of Indian people running kebab houses, Chinese people up north anyway, and I've seen it slip into the south. But Chinese people
Run chip shops.
run chip shops. Yeah, what's that all about? Like, fuck your question, John. What's that all about? Like, where's that come from? Indian people go, I like a good curry. What else do you like? I like meat sliced off of a long, hot meat stick in front of a warm light. Okay, Chinese people, what do you like? I like Chinese food. Okay, prawn crackers, yeah, we get that. What else do you like? Do you know what I do like? Bad sausage.
Sabloy.
Yeah. Where there's no connecting factor on that. It's really bizarre. And up north, because you guys don't live up north, so they didn't know that mushy peas was a thing that comes with chip shops. Because up here,
How?
you know, down south, right? So we have curry sauce and mushy peas. Up north, they have curry sauce or gravy.
There's
Fine.
Chinese curry
But-
sauce. That might be
Yeah.
the interconnecting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not chip shop curry sauce like what we would have down south, so it's not as good. It's ugh. Anyway, but it's such a weird up here. If you want a Chinese, you go to the chip shop. You go to the fish and chip shop if you want a Chinese, and if you want fish and chips, you go to the Chinese. I can't get to grips with it. And yet, anyone I speak to from, maybe it's just the Northwest, but I experienced it when I was living in Yorkshire as well. It's a very bizarre thing that you have a Chinese chip shop.
There's one in Cambridge on Mill Road, and apparently they do the best fish and chips in Cambridge, and they do the best Chinese in Cambridge.
Oh, and I have no issue with that. I was changing the subject. This wasn't an argument for or against the question you asked. I just couldn't get to grips with it. However, I've never been somewhere that I can get a good curry from and a good burger and kebab from.
I'm not interested in getting a burger or a kebab if I'm going for an Indian, because what I'm interested in is my Indian. The point I wanted to make earlier was that if you are going to experiment with your Chinese, you might end up eating intestines. If you're going to experiment with your Indian, you're going to get some sort of interesting dal, or, you know, just something that seems tolerable to me.
I just feel like you're being racist.
No, I mean, I went to a Chinese place in London with Mr. Logoretti, and
Shout out
look at
Mr.
you name dropping science
Logoretti!
teachers.
Yeah.
Has he got his MBE yet?
Can I just state, sorry, despite rumours, he is neither long nor stretchy.
and we tried the alternative menu.
Oh, I couldn't hold it in.
We tried the alternative menu, and I mean he loved it, but it was all intestines. So I don't think I'm being rude or
I remember
racist.
you telling me about it. I visited you shortly after that had happened. I remember you telling me about it, and you were like, I got my Chinese, he got the Chinese. I think were almost your exact words.
And, you know, I'm open to experimenting, but I just know that if I experiment with Indian, I'm on safe ground. I'm gonna like it.
But what are you basing that on?
Well, I've been trying a lot of curries.
Yeah, you haven't been to India, have you?
I've been to a lot of countries surrounding India, but never.
But you've not been to India, so you've not had Indian.
You've not been to China.
No, I've not. But
Right.
he is the one saying he knows what he gets with Indian, but doesn't know what he gets with Chinese. And I'm saying that's the whole point of what my argument is. I know what I'm getting with Indian or Chinese. It's just more consistent.
You only ever get one thing.
I've tried other things. I know what I like. John, okay, when you go to an Indian, what do you order?
Everything.
No.
Something different every time.
Wrong John.
Me?
Wrong John Silver.
Arr. I'm going through the menu at the moment. I've tried a Nepali mixed masala. I've tried a Taka dal. I've tried a dopiaza at this Indian. I'm going through it because I'm being a bit adventurous. So I think I might have to decide with John on this because I've had a few absolutely blindingly awesome Chineses, and I've ordered the same thing again. It's not been quite good. Like there's been a different chef on. And it really, really upsets me when they put pineapple in sweet and sour sauce.
You know what? I've got to agree with you.
So I've ordered it from the same place, but it's come out different. It's just like, no, I can't be dealing with this. But I try a different Indian. It's a different meal. It's a different sort of meal package I'm making. And so I think I have to go with John for the agreement of variety. And I tend to do the same sort of Chinese. And is even ordered from the same place. It's not the same. It's Indian wins tonight.
Did not John just scold himself?
No, he agreed with me that pineapple does not belong in sweet and sour sauce. Or he's hurt himself.
I think he's recovering from a burn.
Sorry, I've got ice on it now. I'm running it under a cold tap.
What did you do?
I punished
I thought you were
myself.
agreeing with me that pineapple does not belong in sweet and sour.
Not John is a bad house elf and must be punished.
What did you do?
I burnt myself. I was wrong. I deserve to be punished.
All right. That's intense.
I don't think you understand just how. Are you getting a glass of water?
Yes.
No, I thought it was you running your hand to the tap.
Oh. I don't think you understand just how much I hate pineapple. I hate the taste of pineapple to the point that I publicly tell people I'm allergic to it. Because it is one of my least favourite flavours in the whole palette of the world. It paid off once, which is a really studenty thing. But I was in a nightclub. I ordered like 4 VK orange because it was before the cusp of they're going to get expensive. In like my first or second year of university, they gave me VK tropical. I took a sip of one and went, ugh, looked at it, went back to the bar, caught the barman and I went, look, I just took a sip of this. No, I nearly took a sip of this, sorry. I said, but my friend took it off me and tried it for me. I said, this is tropical. I asked for orange. I'm allergic to pineapple. Now, we all know that VK Tropical has never seen a pineapple in his fucking life.
Yeah, probably.
But
they probably jumped at the chance to...
He doubled them. So I ended up with 8 VK Orange as an apology. Now, was that good for my stomach lining? No. Was it good for my liver? Not sure because there's not much alcohol in the VK. However, that's the one time it paid off. But I hate pineapple, so I stand by my argument, but I can't argue with what John said about just throwing pineapple in there.
No
but
need.
I do think it's the same with Indians as well. Like Indians and Chinese are both the same. They're both interchangeable, and depending on where you go, for me, obviously not for you two, but for me, it alternates. There'll be times when I'll be like, yeah, favourite takeaway, Indian all the way. The only reason I don't get Indian every time I get a takeaway is because it's more expensive. Same with Chinese. But then I'll get a Chinese and I'll be like, oh my god, it's best Chinese for Brad. Or I'll get a Chinese and go, that was really disappointing.
Indian's my favourite. Yay!
I think I can really like Chinese, but I find that a bad Chinese is worse than a bad Indian.
Yeah.
Well, when I came to visit you, John, and it was just after you'd been out with Mr. Logorecci, you took me to Chinatown and we walked around and we went into that place and we ordered all of the food, including we ordered our meals and then half a duck and pancakes.
Yeah,
and
we did.
It was lovely. It was when I was going to go get a out of business tattooed across my business tattoo.
Oh, yeah, from the chap I was talking about earlier with his Rome wasn't built in a day anecdotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, so most of you, especially, by the way, we've got a lot of listeners in China, Singapore, and some in India, from what I believe. So shout out to all of you.
Shout out to the Middle East.
Yeah. I haven't.
But those places are in the Middle East.
Oh no, they're actually the East, aren't they? They're genuine East.
Asia.
Sorry.
Asia was the word you're looking for.
That's the one. I've never claimed to be good at geography. Leave me alone.
But for all of you apparently Middle Eastern listeners, I have my friend's business card tattooed on me. And then he sold his business and went abroad, and I very nearly got it tattooed over. Then he came back and started his business again. So there's the boring backstory. Shall we share Twitters?
Yep. I'm John Would Rather. No H, because I believe their calorific value is too high and I'm on a diet.
And I can only be contacted if you've got an Enigma machine. So... Yeah.
That's a lot. It's John with an H, Would Rather, and I'm Would J Rather. Would J Rather, because I used to be the host, and also there was no other way of phrasing it.
Did Twitter not like parentheses?
No, they hate parentheses. I love how since starting this podcast, even though we didn't think through how easy it would be to find us with the parentheses in the title, parentheses have become part of our, I'm going to use that word again, John, vernacular.
They have. as this podcast has become a little group and we've got our own selected vocabulary that makes sense to us. Okay, right, next question.
Right, before you ask this next question, sorry, John, but we're recording an audio podcast, and for anyone that cares about the process that goes into recording it, we don't actually have video when we're recording. We just have our little icons on Skype. And John with an H is, for some reason, the most technologically advanced of us of Skype, who hates everything pop culture related more than any of us put together. All 70 odd of you listeners, apparently. But every time anyone says something that he finds funny, he'll click the button for a laughing emoticon. Anytime someone does something he agrees with, he'll click the thumbs up emoticon. I don't know how to do that which is irritating in itself. He's done it again. But it's also really distracting because half of my screen changes colour. And now the other John's doing it.
To be honest, I didn't even know whether you'd noticed.
I have noticed, and now I've figured out how to do it. Anyway, question 2.
Okay, question number 2. Would you rather be a forest ranger or a Power Ranger?
Power Ranger.
I mean, I would definitely rather be a forest ranger because I like the idea of spending time that I'm being paid for wandering around ancient woodland and forest, looking for bears and setting traps for them to capture them on video, and then sending off those videos to...
Are you the ranger from Yogi Bear?
Might be. That's one of the things that I would aspire to.
What, having your picnic stolen most days?
I'm smarter than the average bear.
Have you both heard that? It's proper old, but it was one of those things. I had a friend, he came back from Spain and he bought this CD and he went, "You need to listen to this, it's really funny." And it was like a Weird Al CD, but not by Weird Al and not as clever. But one of the songs of it was about Yogi Bear, and all of the lines on it was a pun on bear, and the main one that I remember was Yogi's knob is long and green, he's a cucumber, he's a cucumber, he's a cucumber, Yogi's knob is long and green, he's a cucumber.
Well, I'm glad you remembered that from back in the day, but can you remember your national insurance number?
Yeah, it's JH4590, go fuck yourself. I'm not making that public.
I don't want to steal your identity. Your credit rating's probably worse than mine.
Actually, it's getting better.
Alright, stop bragging.
Oh, it is. All of the Wonga loans that I've paid off actually count towards my credit score. Ironically, and any of our listeners that are caring, Wonga loans count towards your credit score. However, because you've had a Wonga loan that's a payday loan, you can't get a mortgage for 7 years since you've had it. So you have to wait 7 years after getting the most recent Wonga loan before you can get a mortgage, which is a bit counterproductive, but hey ho.
Wonga have gone into administration.
I saw that. I picked the wrong time 3 months ago to stop borrowing off them. I could have written off that debt.
Well, you should definitely try and take them to the ombudsman before they completely go out of business.
What would I take him to the ombudsman for? Have we stopped recording the podcast and just giving me financial advice now?
Yeah.
Seems like it. I was trying to think of a tangent of some way to get back on track, but I've got fucking no idea. So, you want to be a forest ranger and have your lunch stolen by a bear, and Matt, you want to be a Power Ranger because it's morphin time?
No, because it is a good way to live your life. In many of the episodes of the Power Rangers, there were conflicts of how they should live their lives. There was the bad guys trying to persuade the good guys to come over to the bad side. There was the Green Ranger's a classic example. He was a Green Ranger, he was a maverick, then he got transferred to the bad side, then they managed to get him over to the good side, he became the White Ranger, and there was a lot of deep messages in that show. One of the deepest messages I found was based in the Green Ranger.
If you can't fix your problems, get a Megazord.
No, it was in the Green Ranger, because he proved that no matter you could achieve anything, absolutely anything that you put your mind to, including playing a dagger like a flute through a helmet. It was incredible the way he managed it. But no, it was a TV show about a group of friends that were a bit of a group of outcasts, all from different walks of life, and it showed that they could get on together. It was the same as any coming of age TV show that shows, oh, just because you're a geek doesn't mean you can't get on with a jock. But epic. And they kicked ass. It had everything you could want from a TV show. I have not watched the new Power Rangers film purely because I'm saving it for a rainy day because I know it will cheer me up. even if it's bad. That was the beauty of it.
I think the beauty of being a forest ranger would be the rugged individualism, the going out there and building your own fire to keep warm at night because you've hiked slightly too far and you don't think you're going to make it back to your cabin in time for nightfall, and having to.
That sounds very irresponsible and reckless.
Well, no, because you've got the skills to survive out there. So
do you know I've got the skills to survive out there? The Power Rangers. Where are we going to camp tonight? In my metal mammoth.
where?
That was a good camping episode. I definitely remember that one.
Or you pull out the hammock from your rucksack, pin it between two trees, and sleep in the hammock for the night.
Or you pull out the hammock and hang it between your two giant metal pterodactyl wings.
Wait, you can either be a Power Ranger or a Forest Ranger. You can't be both.
I think bringing giant robot pterodactyls into the forest is going to spoil some of the tranquility that I was hoping to achieve from being a forest ranger.
I mean, get with the times. Pterodactyls were there before the forests were there, and now we're in the 21st century, so of course we're going to evolve into metal pterodactyls. And
run me through a normal day as a Power Ranger, and then run me through a normal day as a Forest Ranger. What are the highs and what are the lows?
Wake up, go to high school, deal with some sort of issue from, what were they called? Boris and Bulk and Skull. Thank you. Then all of a sudden some monster takes control of someone. Someone's acting weird. Okay, let's head back to the Power Rangers headquarters. Let's talk to a giant head in the sky. Oh, he's told us that there's an issue. Let's go sort it out. It's morphin' time. I am. Or the dance. Okay, we go and fight a load of the putty monsters. Kick them in the chest. Kick them in the chest. They're dead. It's fine. Oh, there's a monster. He's the boss battle of this current episode, which we'll call Tuesday of my current high school. I'm already going through a load of shit to do with my hormones. I want to date Kimberly, but I can't because I don't get a chance alone with her, because every time I try and speak to her, Billy walks up and tells me about a new fucking technological advancement in the Power Ranger armor that we're wearing. Fine, I'll deal with it later. There's a monster that is here. Okay, he's got lots of eyes for a body. Fine, we'll kick him. We'll jump kick him. We'll jump kick him. Karate chop. Oh, he's dead. No, he's the size of a 4-story house, and he's just stomped on all of us. Oh no, we're gonna lose. What should we do? Alpha 65, what should we do? How about you get your big giant robots to help you? You jump in them, make them all become one giant person, and fight him. Okay, we're fighting him. We're winning. Oh my god, I think we're gonna do this. Oh no, he's just done a special eye move from his main eye that suddenly opened. I think we're gonna lose. Oh, what's this? A giant sword's coming down from the sky out of a comet. Catch the giant sword, do a spin kick, hit him with the sword. Monster's dead. Enemy's done for another day. Go home, go to sleep, sexually frustrated because you couldn't get on Kimberly. Wake up, it's Wednesday, rinse, repeat.
I'm glad you addressed the repetitiveness of being a parent, because the same shit happened every fucking day. Right, John, can you convince me being a forest ranger would be better than looking at trees every day?
Sorry, just to confirm, I got his name wrong and he's my favourite character. What was his name? It wasn't Alpha 65. I got that mixed up with Eiffel 65. It was Alpha 5, wasn't it?
It's Johnny 5.
No, it wasn't Johnny 5.
Johnny 5 is alive.
Okay, ask John, and when he's finished talking, because I'm not going to listen, I will tell you the name of the robot from Power Rangers.
This is the most important issue of your life right now. I'm glad I raised it.
Power Rangers robot.
I mean, I was listening carefully to the life of a Power Ranger.
It is Alpha 5. Okay, I'll listen now. He was replaced by Alpha 6 in the later series.
Oh.
I was listening very carefully to Life of a Power Ranger, and I think horses for courses. It sounds very interesting, but it sounds like a lot of drama. I think there is something to be said for the simplicity of waking up in your hammock in your cabin in the woods, taking out a penknife, whittling down some wood to make a spear or an arrow, killing a deer, having deer steak for breakfast, then going making a fence, but mending a fence that the bears tore down overnight, then going out and educating some children on which pine cones are edible and which ones will give you chronic spine disease, and then going back to your cabin, doing a tweet because the government's funding you and they expect you to be on social media, and then going for a walk, and then going to bed and having more deer steak. It just
I thought you were really going to sell that to me, but you didn't. Like, wake up, what's the first thing you do? Murder the biggest animal in the forest, obviously.
And
Woo!
also, I've known rangers of forests and even woods. You're not expected to hunt your own food. You're supposed to preserve your wife.
Wife?
What did I say?
You said preserve your own wife.
Preserve the wildlife. I just shortened it. I was trying to save time.
I
When
mean,
was the last time you put your wife in a big old bucket of formaldehyde?
I don't have a wife, but thanks for rubbing it in.
Right, just on the concept of having to murder your own breakfast, I think you have to go with Power Rangers. As much as it's mundane, you do win the battle every day, and then there'll be one day where Rita doesn't send down a monster, and you can finally get a quick hand over the back of the cinema with Kimberly. One day.
Yes.
Keep shit up, lad.
As much as thank you very much for the win, and as much as we've got really carried away the first two questions, I have to tell a quick story, even though we're pressing for time and we've got another question to go. But it is Power Rangers related. So I had a babysitter, and I must have been 6 or 7, and it was one of those, like, you're of that age, and I remember it like it was yesterday. No, tell us a bedtime story, tell us a bedtime story. Me and my brother, top and tailing, mum and dad were out, so we were sharing the bed. So, what story do you want to know? She was one of those babysitters. She's going to make up the story. Okay, fine. Want a story about Power Rangers, because that was the thing. Not a problem. So she made up a story about the Power Rangers. What was the enemy in this Power Rangers story? An enemy that could tell the future. So no matter what the Power Rangers did, the enemy knew what they were about to do and defeated them. And she never finished the story, even though all the Power Rangers were on the floor and the enemy was about to win, because she had to go answer the phone. So it was then bedtime, and we both fell asleep. So I don't know if I nearly said his name, but I don't know if my brother remembers this as well. But we fell asleep. She was gone. She never babysat us again. I don't know the end to this story. I don't know how the Power Rangers won. So the Power Rangers died to me on that day. It's very upsetting. Very upsetting. I need a minute.
Where do we go from this? Do we say that we understand, even though we've got fucking no clue how to be sympathetic towards your crazy story non-story?
No, just to ask your third fucking question. I'm gonna use this anger and emotion. Tweet at me, or would you rather, if you heard a similar experience of someone not finishing a story and it haunting you for life.
This one is deliberately ambiguous. Would you rather take the money or risk it all?
Risk it all.
I'd obviously take the money.
Why?
What? Come on, tell me more.
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
A hand in Kate Bush is worth 2 in the hand.
Ugh.
The point is what I've got now is a lot more valuable than what I don't have.
Then why do you go to work every day?
Because that's
Work
that's
isn't gambling.
No. But he said what I have now is worth more than what I don't have. Well, every day you go to work is to earn money, which you don't have.
Well, no, it's to keep a roof over his head. It's to keep what he has.
Okay. Well, he should phrase his sentences better.
Yeah,
Come on,
okay.
John.
It was
An argument for you.
It was phrased a bit sketchily, but the point I was trying to make remains valid. That it's It's more helpful to have something guaranteed than to risk blowing it for the grass is greener on the other side. You'll get there, and those two birds that are in the bush, they'll be gone. That is why a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Thank you, John, for that insightful anecdote.
I mean, it sounded like he just said a phrase he's heard people say, and then he said it again. that was what I heard, genuinely. No, you've got to take risks in your life. If you just play it safe your entire life, then you never get anywhere. I don't know. It's obvious. Apply for the job you don't think you're going to get. Go for the girl you're not sure is going to say yes. Wash your clothes on a dark wash because you haven't got enough washing powder to do it on a light wash. Like, who wants to play it safe? Nothing good ever happened from playing it safe. Neither of you two ended up with your wives by playing it safe. I've seen them both. Absolutely gorgeous women. I've seen both of you. Like, I realise I'm not playing to my audience. I'm just saying, you take a risk, you get a bigger reward. Yet you both sent me the same slow clapping emoticon. I don't mean it in an offensive way. I know I made a cheap joke out of it. You're both relatively handsome gentlemen, but you're both with very beautiful women. You could both do a lot worse. And if you disagree with me, then losing this episode of the podcast is going to be the least of your worries. Just think about that for a second. But no, there is a lot to be said for taking a risk. Why would you want to play it safe? I don't understand why you ever would. Like, there's certain circumstances you should, but that is not a way to live your life.
I think the point that troubles me is that the question wasn't play it safe or risk it all. It was take the money or risk it all. Risk it all on what? We don't even know what we're risking it on, and you've already gone for it.
You don't know what money you're taking. It could be a penny.
Well,
I could be risking a penny.
You could be risking a lot more than a penny, but you're risking it all. What? I mean, you don't even know what you've risked.
You don't know what you're taking. You don't know what you're taking.
I just feel like
it's exactly the same as that Family Guy sketch of you could have this boat or you could take this box. The box could be anything. It could even be a boat. Until you know what it is that you're gambling, it's not worth it. If you know what you're gambling, like I lived in America. I went to Atlantic City for one of my good friend's 21st birthdays. I took $700 with me to gamble. I walked away with 21 cents. Because I knew that money was there to gamble, but the memories I got from that day was so worth it. What would I have done with that $700 when I brought it back to England? After the exchange rate, 450 quid, I was coming back to my final year of university. I'd have pissed it up at a wall at some shitty club in West Yorkshire, or I had a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Fair enough, it was Atlantic City, it wasn't Las Vegas, but I'm not, a posh person. I'm probably more suited to Atlantic City than I am Las Vegas. It was interesting. I genuinely, sorry, story time again, but on the last day, I had
just... That's right, you've got to edit out your own stories. Unless you're going to edit all of us out, and then it's going to be just 40 minutes of you telling stories.
It's a very quick story. I had just enough money to get myself lunch in the crazy golf that we were doing, and I also wanted to buy a hermit crab. Decided not to buy the hermit crab because I had to buy myself lunch. While we're walking down the boardwalk, a seagull shit on the back of my shirt. No one noticed. I'm in the shop, leant forward to look at something and went, oh, something wet's on my back. Felt my shirt, felt that a seagull was shitting it. I was like, for fuck's sake. Had to take off my vest and travel from Atlantic City to the centre of New York without wearing a shirt because it was sitting in a bag. Long story short, Atlantic City even took the shirt off my back.
That's brutal.
And it's not an exaggeration. That actually happened, and I was like, you can't write this shit. I wish I could, but I couldn't. But that's a story. I made you two laugh. It was worth risking it all to bring joy to someone else's life. just like it's always worth risking it all just for the fun of it. We are here for a finite amount of seconds. Why play it safe?
It's true. If we played it safe all the time, man would have never made it to the moon.
How did you know as you were going to get on as a dad, John? You didn't until you tried it.
I didn't have much choice.
But it's pretty much the biggest risk you can take. You did have a choice. You could have walked away. You risked it. It's not in your nature to walk away, but you had that option. You didn't. You risked it. You're an amazing dad. And you wouldn't have been able to do that had you not risked it, because you didn't know the outcome. If you don't know the outcome to something, then you're risking it. Fuck playing it safe. Let's live on the edge.
Closing statement, John?
I think that I'd like
a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
just say it one more time. I think repetition would cement it for you.
I want to bring together my previous experience of being a forest ranger and say that I think
a bird in the hand is on fire.
Sometimes you've got to take it pedestrian and just play it safe.
Are you trying to win this argument?
Two birds in the bush is lunch and dinner.
That you may never get. You may not be able to eat for the rest of the day if you give up that bird in the hand and try and get the two in the bush. You may never get them.
I think your closing argument, by the sounds of it, and no H, John, back me up. It sounded like your opening argument, but backwards. It was like the Morecambe and Wise sketch where he's playing the piano. He goes, do you know how to play this? And he goes, that's not it. He goes, I know, I'm playing the exact right song, just the wrong notes in the wrong order, or something like that. It was the same words, but in a different order.
It would be tremendous if I could win this by talking about trees.
I think if I gave you the win, John, it would be treason.
Oh.
So I'm gonna risk it all. I'm gonna go and vote for Matt. And
Woo!
he's
thank goodness.
And we're gonna give him back.
I didn't want to have to come up with 3 more questions.
You had a whole week.
It was, and I left it to the last 3 hours. The last 3 hours.
Oh, to be fair, with that last question, I know I picked first, and we picked pretty much at the same time, but I instantly went, oh, what have I done? And the more I was speaking about it, the more I was like, oh, I've got traction here. And then I knew towards the end, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got this. And then to hear you stumbling at the end, I was like, even if I didn't have it, you're giving it to me right now. What's your closing argument? What did I say in the first one? 2 in the bush is worth 3 in a bird? And a hand with the tree. My
argument was he loves trees.
I'd have given it... John, would you just stop it?
I know.
Matt, I'd have given it to you straight away.
Leave me alone!
Risk it for a chocolate biscuit. I'd have given it straight to you.
You just didn't have any well-rooted arguments.
You gotta believe in me.
I have no faith in you.
Come on.
I don't know where these jokes are stemming from. Right, can we finish this? Because we could go on for hours.
You say tree drakes are another branch we could go down at some point in time, but let's wrap it up tonight. John, this is the bit where you sign off.
Oh, right. I've been John, and I've been a devotee of this pun episode about trees.
All right, no need to bark at us.
I've been John, and I'm giving the power back to not John next week. I hope it's not a bad choice.
And I've been not John, and I can feel myself regenerating with the power. I've enjoyed being on the other side, but it's going to be nice to be back on the right side, just for a week. I already have my questions prepared, so I wish you both luck. Thank you for the win. This has been with John Rather.
Toodaloo.
All the best.
See you in a bit. Bye.
Which party would you rather go to? An Ann Summers party or the Green party?
I'd rather go to an S Club party.
That's not an option.
Oh.